Today is the third Sunday in March, and March is Women's History Month. So our next speakers are inspirational women who have focused on the word March, not just as a month, but also as a verb. I need 3 hands. Last week, the Hartford Courant featured a photo of a woman with a bullhorn, and the caption said, quote, "Lila Coddington leads a chant before a rally in Hartford protesting potential cuts to Medicaid," end quote. So please welcome back to Justice Southbury, Marcher Lila Coddington with her speech on Make Some Good Noise.
Yeah!
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Oh, you know how to make noise already. Thank you.
Are you able to hold this, or you want me to hold it for you?
I'm going to need you.
Okay.
Because I need 3 hands also. Hey, last time I was invited here, I got totally rained out. So you'll invite me back again for Pride Month.
Absolutely.
That's great. Thank you. And today I feel like I'm getting frozen out. Thanks again to Justice Southbury for inviting me to be here with you today to share my story about good noise. And you already gave the motivation I needed to continue. So my idea for good noise came from 2 places in our U.S. history. The first is from Representative and Congressman John Robert Lewis, who was born in 1940. John was the son of a sharecropper who grew up in rural Troy, Alabama, when segregation and denigration was the acceptable norm of the South. As a young child, John Lewis lived in constant fear for his own life because of signs that stated no colored boys and no colored girls. His parents and grandparents used to say to him and preach to him, "Don't get in trouble, son. Do not get in trouble." Nonetheless, as John Lewis matured, he was inspired to activism by the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott that started when Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old colored woman, refused to give up her seat and moved to the back of the bus. John Lewis stated, "Rosa Parks inspired us to get in trouble, and I've been getting in trouble ever since. Rosa also inspired us to find a way to get into what he now called good trouble and necessary trouble." Over the years, John Lewis was able to meet and work with Rosa Parks, who taught him about the philosophy and discipline of nonviolence. John Lewis stated, "Rosa Parks kept on saying to each one of us, you too can do something for people. If you see something that is not right, not just, and not fair, then do something, because we cannot afford to be quiet." What did I say? We cannot afford to be quiet. We cannot afford to be quiet. And here we are today, 70 years later, and I say to you once again, we cannot afford to be quiet in the United States of America today. With Rosa Parks and John Lewis in my heart, mind, and soul, I bring you good noise is necessary noise.
Yeah.
My second idea for good noise is necessary noise came to me as I recalled the early days of the pandemic. Do you remember? On April 5th in 2020, New Yorkers cheered as part of New York's Clap Because We Care initiative. Across the boroughs in New York City, cheers of gratitude rang out for the exhausted ER and ICU doctors, nurses, custodians, medical techs, food workers, ambulance drivers, and more workers than we can even recall. New Yorkers were giving thanks and honoring these frontline workers. This inspiring ritual took hold across America and across the world. And each night at 7 p.m. when shifts changed, hospital personnel would emerge from the COVID nightmare that they were shrouded in, and the good noise rang out with applause, chants of love and appreciation, hoots and howlers and whistles. This thunderous roar motivated the many medical and hospital staff to walk back into that COVID nightmare to continue their life-saving work day after day after day. And daily, thank God, the good noise rang out. In those moments, I think that none of us were alone in our fear and trepidation as we lived through the early days of COVID. It mobilized many across our nation to put up signs of thanks in our yards. And if you saw a sign that had a big red heart on it, we instantly knew what it meant. During the COVID nightmare, while someone was proposing that we could simply inject Clorox as a cure, love and compassion just the same was spreading across our nation, or at least in the signs of hope that were popping up, supporting first responders and medical personnel. Now look, I certainly have not forgotten the lies and the alternate truths that were being sold to Americans, but many of those signs of hope, those heart signs, still remain visible today, and as a continued reminder of what we need to accomplish in our United States of America. In our United States of America. What did I say? In our United States of America. In our United States of America. Today, like so many others across our nation and world, I personally feel exasperated, exhausted, a bit paranoid, angry beyond words, but thankfully motivated at the same time, which is why I am here with you today. At 74 years old, I somehow managed to get to 5 protests this month. One on the Milford Green, here with you at Justice Southbury for your 250th gathering. 2 weeks ago, I was supporting veterans at the state capitol, and let me tell you, the veterans are not happy with the denigration of their military service, being called suckers and losers, or the cuts in funding to the VA services. I was back at the Capitol last Tuesday supporting people with severe and significant disabilities from Connecticut and across our nation who depend on Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security to simply live their lives. These people live on modest, very modest incomes. They are not the billionaires, and nor do they deserve to be mocked or humiliated or ridiculed. If Medicaid is dropped, people will start dying left and right. Medicaid is health care for so many people across our nation. They depend on it for treatment, medications, housing, life-saving medical equipment, care specialists, and more. And at 74 years old, I don't think I have to preach to the choir. Oh, but I think I will. Many of us senior citizens who actually fall on both sides of the aisle in both red and blue states alike worked for 50 years for our Social Security and Medicare benefits. These are not entitlements. These are the benefits that we worked for, and these will not go down with a fight. So what do we need to do? We need to stand up and fight. What did I say? Stand up and fight. Again, stand up and fight. Hey, I think you're getting the hang of good noise is necessary noise. And finally, just yesterday, I was at a protest with Indivisible at Tesla in Milford. 400 people showed up and spoke up, including Senator Blumenthal, who was thanking us for protesting and making our voices heard here in Connecticut. So I guess I do have a lot of energy for 74. But more importantly, as Rosa Parks stated, we cannot afford to be quiet. What did I say? We cannot afford to be quiet. Again, we cannot afford to be quiet. Thank you. So ask yourselves the question and reflect on your own answers. How can I get involved? How can I get involved as we fight oligarchy and authoritarianism in the USA? Because we have no room for a wannabe, has been and has never been anything more than what he is. We don't have any room for him and his king title. Not in America, never in America. Yes, I've done postcard writing with Indivisible until my hands were cramped. But now I do believe I have found my direction in this fight for our democracy and for my blue megahorn. And that's why I'm here with you today. I want to share my voice with you, to be your cheerleader, to get involved and fight the necessary fight as we make good noise and necessary noise to save America. However, I am more concerned about others who aren't finding their way to get involved or to have their voices. So I invite them and all of you to join me. Take to the streets and protest, attend Justice Southbury weekly, or simply stay in your homes and write postcards to your representatives and your senators. But most importantly, write and call the Republican U.S. representatives and senators in red states and make your voice heard before it's too late for all of us, even if we stand on either side of the aisle. Please find your way to make your voice heard to save our democracy now. Save our democracy now. So here's my idea. How about if we all re-implement the strategy used during COVID, which helped others realize they were not alone in their fear and isolation? Can you remember how that felt back then? The simple strategy can be implemented at clubs we belong to, places of worship, synagogues, churches, mosques, community centers, book clubs, our neighborhoods, or even on well-traveled street corners just like this. The strategy, again, was simple and unique, and it worked during COVID, and it can work for us now. At 7 p.m. every evening, let's head outside and make some good noise and necessary noise by banging pots and pans, blowing whistles, ringing bells, banging drums, and even playing some motivating music, and dance in the street if you want. If we did this for 5 minutes every evening, our neighborhoods would come alive with our communal voices begging to be heard, and we would unite together in our communities and not all alone in our exasperation, our exhaustion, or our fear and angry beyond words. We would be motivated at the same time to do more because, as Rosa Parks stated, we cannot afford to be quiet. Not this time. Not this time. This noise coming from us will be like a subliminal protest coming from down under. And together we will be thunderous, and everyone will hear and hopefully understand our nation is in a conflagration of a 5-alarm fire, and that to save our democracy, we must make some good and necessary noise. What did I say? Good and necessary noise. Yes. So at 7 p.m., wherever we are, let's just do it. Start banging those pots and pans, blowing whistles, ringing bells, banging drums, playing music to make sure your voices are heard. And why? So that good people can save our democracy. We the people can save our democracy. We the people can save our democracy. So as a proud gay woman, I know I did not address issues related to LGBT or Black Lives Matter or DIE issues, women's health care and the right to choose, anti-Semitism, the importance of education, equality in economics, or international issues. But you yourself can choose your issue and stand up and make your voices heard. Just know I stand with you. And finally, let's all understand that the other side wants to hold America as a hostage. They want us to feel powerless. But do not let this happen. Do not let this happen. Let's reignite the hope in our democracy, and let's work together, because we are all stronger when we hang together. And when we hang together, we stand united, and we will save our American democracy. What did I say? We will save our American democracy. Thank you. So thanks so much. Please try to get to a protest on April 5th as we the people gather together united across America and around the world, making good noise and necessary noise to save our democracy. democracy. Thank you to Justice Southbury, and you all make me proud to be an American. Thank you.